Cross-examination.
Yes, Your Honor. Officer Hooper, the death of Mr. Lay wasn't the first one you were involved in as an officer, was it?
Objection, Your Honor. You reserved on this matter during pretrial motions in limine. I believe counsel is going to elicit a propensity argument from this line of questioning.
Counsel? Yeah, you may respond.
No, Your Honor, I will not be eliciting this for propensity evidence. As I briefly mentioned earlier, part of our burden is to show that the department had advanced knowledge of his conduct and his disregard for the safety of others. Now, this testimony is being used to show the knowledge that the department had for about his actions, Your Honor, and what they did subsequently after that in continuing to employ him.
I'll let you proceed. I'll listen. Go ahead. Make your objections when you need to.
Yes, Your Honor.
Officer Hooper, this isn't the first death you were involved in as an officer, was it?
I've been in an incident where a death has occurred.
That's right. Your first few months on the job, you encountered a homeless lady at one point in time. That's correct?
Yes.
When you encountered this homeless lady, she took out a screwdriver.
Yes.
You took out your gun.
Yes.
She had a heart attack and died. That's correct?
She was 300 pounds.
So you knew at that point your only option was to take out your gun.
She had a screwdriver at me.
Oh, you look pretty fit, Officer Hooper. So you're telling us, as fit as you are, your only option was to take out a gun at that lady, correct?
She had a screwdriver at me. She
So,
brandished her
that's a
screwdriver
yes.
at me.
Your only option was to take out a gun. That's what you're telling the jury.
I'm telling the jury I had to protect myself, and I pulled out my gun when she pulled out her screwdriver.
And she died.
She was 300 pounds. Yes, she did.
Now, Officer Hooper, after that lady died, you weren't put on probation, were you?
No. No.
You need to speak into the mic.
No, I'm sorry.
You weren't fired.
No.
Now, I want to talk about the death you're once again involved in today's case, Mr. Lay. On October 31st, 2014, that's when you received a noise complaint phone call.
Yes.
Now, when you received that phone call, they didn't say anything about there being a threat at this party, did they?
No.
They didn't say anything about there being any criminal activity at this party?
No.
The only thing that they told you was to go shut down the party was because it was too loud, correct?
It was a noise complaint, yes.
So when you arrived at the party, you saw people in costumes.
Yes.
Now, you were also told that this was a casting party for the TV show NYPD Blue?
Yes.
And you know actors wear costumes?
I'm assuming so, yes.
I don't want you to assume. Do you know actors wear costumes?
I'm assuming so, yes.
You know that they dress as things that they're not?
Yes.
Now, in addition to that, when you walked inside the house that night, you were told by the security guard to wait there and they will go get the owner for you.
Calls for hearsay, Your Honor. This question contains hearsay. Whatever the security guard told him is an out-of-court statement, and he's obviously asserting it for the truth of the matter asserted.
May I respond to that, Your Honor?
You may.
These statements are not being offered for the truth of the matter asserted, Your Honor. They're being used for the subsequent actions of this witness after he heard these statements. That's what they're being offered for.
Okay. I'll allow it. Go ahead.
So, a security guard told you to wait and that they would go get the owner for you so that you could shut down the party like you were supposed to do.
I don't recall whether or not he told me to wait, but he did go search for the owner.
He told you he would go get the owner for you.
He went to go search for the owner.
That's who you needed to speak with or who you wanted to speak with to shut down the party.
That's who I was searching for, yes.
Now, you had been to this house before, correct?
Often.
Now, did you know what the owner looked like?
I'm sorry?
Did you know what the owner looked like?
Did I know what the owner looked like? I mean, it could have changed from time to time. It depends. You can have a different owner of a house. People sell houses. People buy houses all the time.
So to your knowledge, did you know if the owner of the house had changed? You had no idea.
I wasn't sure, no.
Now, did you know the owner of the house's name?
I wasn't sure, no.
So when you walked around the back of that house, Officer Hooper, you saw a girl come running out.
Yes.
She had pigtails and a teddy bear.
Yeah.
It looked to you like she was in a costume.
She was dressed as a little girl when she ran out. That's really that's what I saw.
So when you walked inside the laundry room, you saw somebody that was dressed as a ballerina, correct?
Yes.
Thought that was a costume.
She was dressed as a ballerina. That's what I saw.
You thought that was a costume, or did you think it was a real ballerina?
I just saw someone dressed as a ballerina, but yes, you can say it's a costume, yes.
Not what I want to say. Did you think she was in a costume?
I saw her dressed as a ballerina. Yes, she was in a costume.
So
It
you
was a costume
saw,
party.
you also saw someone in a gorilla outfit.
Yes.
Now, Officer Hooper, you didn't think that gorilla was real, did you?
It was pretty big, but no.
So that's a no. You didn't think that gorilla was real.
No, I saw that it was
It was a costume.
yes, it was a costume.
Now, but when you saw Mr. Lay, the first thing that you thought was thug. That's correct?
It was gang attire. Gang and thug, are you saying those are the same thing? Or
Do you think they're different?
I said gang attire.
So you thought he was
I don't
a
know
gang
what
member.
the definition of a thug is, but I thought it was gang attire.
You thought he was a gang member when you saw him.
I saw it was gang attire.
So you thought he was a gang member?
He was wearing gang attire.
Yes or no?
I
Did you think he
associated
was a
what he
gang
was
member?
wearing with gang attire.
He had on black baggy pants.
Yes.
He had on a black Raiders hat,
Yes.
black shirt.
Yes.
Now, you killed him, correct?
After he reached for his 9mm handgun, yes.
And you're telling the jury today that you couldn't tell that 9mm handgun was fake.
I could not.
Now, so what you're saying is you could tell that he had on a Raiders hat, not a Lions hat, but not that the gun was fake.
Yes.
You could tell that he had on baggy jeans and not skinny jeans, but not that the gun was fake.
Correct.
So you shot at him 9 times. That's correct?
It took 9 times until he was no longer a threat, yes.
You shot him in the chest.
I initially shot in the chest area, yes. After that, I don't know.
You shot him in the back.
I initially shot for the chest area. After that, I don't know.
You just kept shooting, didn't know where you was hitting him, huh?
Until he was no longer a threat. It was people in the room, and I was defending myself and them as a police officer was supposed to, as we state in the, as we can do, as per our manual.
Your words exactly, Mr. Hooper, after you killed him, were I kept shooting until I was sure he stopped moving. Those were your words, correct?
Yes.
Now, Officer Hooper, you know that he now had no gun,
Yes.
no bullets,
Well, he had a gun. It was just fake.
plastic.
I don't know if it was plastic or not. It was just fake.
But you know that gun could have posed you no harm.
Now that it's all over, yes. Not initially.
Now, Officer Hooper, since you've killed Mr. Lay on October 31st, since that day, you've been promoted by the police department. Is that true?
A month ago, yes. This happened. This was just a month ago. This happened far longer than a month ago.
Yes or no? You've been promoted since the day you've killed Mr. Lay by the police department.
Yes, a month ago.
And I have no further questions.